All right, guys, so in this video, we're going to do another project. I know we just did one, but this is another small one that uses the audio API, and you'll be surprised the little amount of JavaScript we actually have to write for this. But basically, we have this little drum machine interface where we have some letters, basically A through K, your whole middle row, and each time I press one of these keys, I want it to make one of these sounds. So in the starter files, we have a folder called sounds with all different types of drum sounds. So we have the boom, we have the clap, hi-hat. So just different sounds, and you can see that I want A to do clap, S to do hi-hat, and so on. So we have just an empty JavaScript file. We have a little bit of CSS that I created, very, very simple. And then our index.html, basically we have a div with the class of keys, and in that we have each div that has a class of key, and in that div is a KBD or keyboard tag with the letter, and then a span with the class of sound and the name of the sound. Now what we're going to do is basically have an audio element for each of these, and we're going to have an attribute, a custom attribute called data key. So for instance, let's start with A, and we're going to go to the div. Okay, we want to go to the wrapping div here, and I'm going to add a data-key attribute. Now what I want to set this to for A is going to be 65, because that's the key code for the letter A. In fact, I'll show you this. We actually created a small project like this back when we talked about events, where if we hit a key, it shows us the key code. So I'm going to hit the letter A, and it shows me 65. The letter S is 83, the letter D is 68, F is 70, and so on. So I'm just going to add these attributes here. So for S, let's say data-key, and I'm just going to copy this. Actually, I'll just copy that. And then S is going to be 83. And then let's go down to the next div, which is the letter D. So for that is going to be, let's see, D is 68. Then we're going to go to the next one, which is F. And F is going to be 70. And then after F, we have G. So G is going to be 71. Oops, 71. And then we have H. And H is 72. Then we have J. So for J, we have, what is J? 74. And then finally we have K, which is 75. All right, now what I'm going to do is have an audio tag that corresponds to each one of those. So right above the body down here, let's say audio. And then I want this to go to the correct sound. So for A, I want that to be clap. So I'm going to set the source to sounds slash, and we're going to choose clap. And then I'm also going to give this the data key that matches the key that I want, which in this case is going to be 65, which is the same as A. And then we're going to do that for the rest of these. You know what? I'll just paste these in because it's kind of tedious. And if you want to just grab it from the demo files, you can do that as well. So we just have each data key that corresponds to the letter that's clicked, and then we also have the sound that we want to play. So let's save that, and then we're going to jump into our JavaScript, and this actually is going to be pretty simple. So on the window object, I'm going to call or add an event listener. And I want to listen for a key down. And then when that happens, I'm going to call a function called play sound. Okay, and then we'll create that function, say play sound. And we'll go ahead and just pass in our event object. Let's close that sidebar up. And we'll go ahead and just console log e.keycode, and it should give us the key code. So let me just reload that, and I'm going to hit A. So we get 65, S 83, D 68, and so on. So now let's get the audio element with the particular key code that we hit. So we'll say document dot and query selector, and let's do some backticks in here, and we're going to get the audio element, and then in brackets here we can actually do data, so data dash key, which is the custom attribute that I added, and we're going to say equals, and in quotes we'll put our e dot and then whatever that key code is. All right, so that'll get that audio element, and then we can do the same with the key, which is the div, right? The div here with the data key. So let's say const key, and we'll do the same thing here, except instead of audio, we're going to do dot, so the class, the div with the class of key, and then that has the data key with that key code. So we could just kind of test this out by console logging the audio and key, and it should give us the element. Whoops. All right, so if I hit A, so now you'll see it's giving me the correct audio element and the correct div. If I hit S, same thing. So now that we have those elements, we don't want to, like if I hit R, for instance, over here, I get null, null. So we want to make sure that there is an audio tag that has that key. So let's say if no audio, then I'm just going to return. All right, so that way if I save and then I hit R, nothing happens. And then what we'll do is set the audio current time. So current time, we're going to set that to 0 because we want to play it, always play it from the beginning. Then we want to play it, so audio.play. And we're also going to add the class of playing, because if we look in our CSS, there's a, let's see, class of, when the class is playing, the keyboard tag is going to scale up a bit. So when we tap it, you'll see the key kind of scale up. So let's add right here, we'll say key dot class list dot add, and I'm going to add the class of playing. Now if I do this, I hit A, S, D, so it's working, but notice that the key just got bigger and just stayed there. So I just want it to just flash, you know, like as we hit it. So after we add the class, let's do a set timeout, and we're basically going to have a function that runs in 100 milliseconds. And what it's going to do is remove that class. So key.classList, and we're going to remove the class of playing. So now if I come over here and I hit A, S, so now it just kind of, you know, scales up real quick, and you can just kind of mess around with it. I don't know, but yeah, it's really cool. I love this stuff. I have a drum machine. I really enjoy doing this kind of thing. So yeah, have fun with it, and you can see it wasn't much code at all. Again, all we did was brought in the whatever audio and key that we hit, and we set the time to 0, we played it, we added a class and removed a class. So very, very simple.